MotoAmerica on beIN Sports is presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires. The only motorcycle tires designed, tested, and made in America for how you ride. And powered by Kawasaki. Let the good times roll. Welcome back to the Dunlop Championship at Road America here in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. Getting ready for the Motul Superbike class Bazzaz Superstock 1000 race, and riders are already on the pre-grid. They've done a sighting lap, and fans sticking around here on a beautiful, absolutely spectacular day in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. One of the reasons we love coming here. So the as we're going to take a look here at the starting grid and how things shaped up. It's the number 95 there, Roger Hayden, who impressed us all. It's a Dunlop starting grid, and Roger at 2:12.864 ahead of Josh Hayes, who, as far as we know, is going to grid it out, Jason, and start this one.
Absolutely. There's no way he'd miss it. Cameron Beauvier just outside the front row, our winner from yesterday. Row 2, Jake Lewis, Matthew Sculpts, and Josh Herron, who we're going to keep an eye on, Greg. I've been watching them push that bike up and down pit lane trying to get it started, and they finally have. Danny Eslick heads off row 3 with Bobby Fong. Larry Pegram, who had some problems yesterday that they fixed this morning. Next in line, row 4, Tony Elias, Jake Gagne, and Dave Anthony. Note on Tony Elias, he went just as quick as the pole man this morning, 12.8, I believe it was, Greg, this morning in warm-up, so they have found something on that bike. Row 5, Hayden Gillum, Bryce Prince, Chris Paris. Great to see Chris back in the paddock, taking over for Kyle Wyman, who is out this weekend with a concussion from last weekend at Darlington Park. Row 6, Max Flinders, Jeffrey Perk, Sean Dwyer on the outside there, row 6. Row 7, Martin Biernacki, Matthew Orange, and Steve Dolipsky on the outside of row 7. So that's our grid for the race. And it looks like they got that Mean Motorsports just across from where Greg and I are sitting right now. We can look in the pit lane, and we can see that they've got Josh's bike going, running. They've had fans on the radiator. They didn't want to turn the bike off once they got it running. And he's rolling down pit lane. How about looking at Roger Hayden here? Got his Nicky replica helmet on again. And these guys are getting their start on their warm-up lap, Greg.
So the warm-up lap is off and away. Now, Dunlop showed up this weekend with 2 brand new tires. Won't go into the designation of the tire, but let's just say it's a new construction with soft and medium compound. And after the heat that's generated here at Road America, Dunlop decided to pull the soft tire option off the shelf, so it was no longer available to anyone. So this morning, teams got a little bit of extra time to test this new medium compound tire, a tire that's designed with a new construction for more compliance over bumps and to create a little bit more side grip, and all the riders really saying, yeah, it's working. So a little tire problems in terms of the wear and the length and the heat, and this is the hottest time we've seen it so far at Road America all weekend long. Expected to be close to 90 degrees and the track temperature up really high. So Dunlop on it. They understand what they have for them, you know, in terms of what's available. And they want to make sure that all these Motul Superbikes and Bazzaz Superstock 1000 motorcycles are dialed up and ready to go. So here we go. It's the warm-up lap right now. You can see all the crews have set up what they need to. And now it's time to go racing. And Jason, let's go to JP's Keys to the Race, presented by Kawasaki.
I'm very curious to see what changes they made overnight to these Yoshimura Suzukis. This morning, if it was any indication, with Tony's quick time, I spoke to him a little bit last night at dinner. He told me a few of the things that they wanted to make changes on it, and kind of the attitude, geometry of the motorcycle that he wanted to see changed. He had problems with the bike running a little bit wide yesterday. So they made those changes overnight. This morning, by his lap times, they've got some things figured out. Hayes back on after a very big get-off yesterday, walking around pretty gingerly. I saw him with his coach this morning, Riggs. They were just walking around, and Josh got some treatment last night, and I saw him out in practice this morning. I think this guy here at number 4, he's going to grit it out, and he's going to do the absolute best as he can. In that Superstock battle, we cannot talk about Jake Lewis enough. Jake yesterday, this guy right here got off to a fast start, pulled away from those guys behind him. Those guys meaning Matthew Sculpts and Bobby Fong, his 2 main title contending guys that he's got to go against. Jake Lewis has come back into his own after really getting injured last year and then being demoted back to Superstock from that Yoshimura Suzuki team.
All right, let's go down to Hannah, who has our Motul last-minute report. Hannah?
You may have noticed Josh Hayden was still in pit lane while all the rest of the riders were on the starting grid. I just spoke to the team owner, and from what I understand, they were experiencing some trouble with the starter. So once they got the bike started, they were afraid to turn it back off. Unfortunately, this means that Josh will now have to start from the back of the grid because he missed the sighting lap. And that's your Motul Last Minute Report.
All right, thanks, Hannah. A good Motul Last Minute Report about that, because starting in last place is really, really difficult to make up time here at MotoAmerica, because if you lose that draft early on, you're going to have to really ask a lot out of your Dunlop tires.
It'd be fun to have a camera on his bike to just see what that's going to be like on that first lap. That said, if he can get a good start from back there, he can kind of get up in the draft. He could probably be in the top 10, 12 by the time they get down to turn 5. Here you go, Greg.
Here we go. It's time for the Motul Superbike class in Pizzazz Superstock 1000. And here we go. The drag race to turn number 1. Looks like Roger Hayden got a good shot. But where is Tony Elias? We have seen Tony come up. He's middle part of your screen, number 24. And can he get up there to, what, 3rd spot?
Oh, wow.
What a start by Tony Elias. And is that Jake Lewis? Jake Lewis. On that M4 X-Star Suzuki up in the 2nd spot early on.
And this is what Jake wants to do more than anything. He wants to get off and go with his friend Roger Hayden there. They're both going to be chasing each other down this back straightaway. As you can see, Tony Elias, we got Suzuki's 1, 2, 3 with Josh Hayes in 4th, and Cameron Beauvier tucked in right behind him. You're going to see Elias has made quick work of that Superstock 1000. Josh Hayes wants to go with those guys. Jake Lewis is going to funnel back into 4th. Cameron Beauvier is going to be just behind him. Oh, Jake Lewis, big crash. Bobby Fong goes down. Also looks like Matthew Skoltz, our first 3 Superstock guys, Greg, look like they're all down. We could see a red flag. That's Bobby Fong, that's Matthew Skoltz. The top 3 Superstock guys have all gone down in turn 5.
What a turn of events here, coming out of turn number 5. Jake Lewis just trying to apply the throttle, and he gets sideways and collects a bunch. That's a really tough one. Red flag is out, so the red flag is flying. That incident in turn number 5. Bobby Fong was sitting there, and we saw Matthew Skoltz up and moving around. So red flag conditions, that means full race stoppage. We'll have to take a look at this situation, make sure all these riders are okay. And riders will be heading back into the pits, and we'll have to get a full restart of this race. What a dramatic turn of events. Keep in mind, folks, there's a 1-bike rule here in the Motul Superbike and Pizzazz Superstock 1000 classes. That means that as soon as the sighting lap is open, the sighting lap, whatever motorcycle you go out on the sighting lap on, you have to finish the entire race. So even if Jake Lewis is okay to ride, Matthew Skoltz is okay to ride, they're going to have to get those motorcycles back together in the time it takes basically to clean up that mess. So it looks like Lewis, though, with a little bit of a limp in his giddy up there.
So bummed for all 3. I mean, this is crazy. You know, for anybody that might have tuned in for our 600 Superstock, our main contenders in 600 Superstock this weekend have all had big trouble. Now we've seen the top 3 guys in our 1000 Superstock all have big trouble. And, man, and it looked like something so innocent. I mean, literally, Jake got on the gas a little bit early. The thing, he almost had it saved, Greg, and the thing just spit him up over the top. And then down there especially, everyone's starting to get on the gas from such a very, very slow corner from a fast straightaway. There's Bobby Fong. Great to see Bobby up and okay, but you can see that bike is too damaged to start. Really, if Matthew Skoltz can get up, or either one of their any one of those 3 guys' bikes that are capable of starting this race, it could be a huge thing for the championship. So
for the Pizzazz Superstock 1000, let's take a look at the implications of this crash, as Bobby Fong leads this championship by 13 points over Jake Lewis and 19 over Matthew Skoltz. As we take a look at...
Yeah, you see the guys coming back in right now, and they're just going to put the tire warmers back on these bikes right now, Greg, and just and kind of wait. You know, there might be a little bit of a cleanup that they've got to get done down there in turn 5. There was a lot, you know, by the look of Bobby's bike and how damaged it was, there could be bike parts kind of scattered around a little bit. So that's what the crew's doing. And here's the start of the race. Look at Jake Lewis got off to a great start. Tony Elias went straight from the left side of the track all the way over to the right side, and that's where he got himself down the inside of everybody going into turn number 1. Raj again with a great start for Roger Hayden. But how about that GSX-R 1000 Superstock bike out dragging the 2 R1s down into turn 1? It's just a great start by Jake. And you can see Tony Elias got just squeezed in between Jake Lewis.
And by the way, I want to let you know that Jake Lewis on his M4 X-Star Suzuki, they've turned off any aids that he has to start. That was a completely 100% manual start. So that's just the normal way he starts, and that's been the difference this weekend. And here's the crash.
Here you go.
Look at 85, Jake Lewis, left part of your screen. Keep a look. Take an eye.
And he's almost got it, but then it just spits him over the top. And there's Bobby Fong running into him. And then, man, Matthew Skoltz runs right over Bobby Fong. I mean, what are the odds that you're going to get your top 3 guys all crashing in the same exact incident in that kind of thing? And what a bummer.
So basically for Bobby Fong, I mean, he's got 4 wins on the season, 2 second-place finishes. The only time he's finished or hasn't been on the podium was a DNF in our 4th round, which was at Road Atlanta number 2. So it looks like Fong now is going to be done, his 2nd DNF, but that takes him out. Now, what does that do for this championship? Well, the 4th place rider in the championship is number 69, Danny Eslick on the TOBC Racing Yamaha. He's 41 points adrift of Bobby Fong, Jake Lewis, and Matthew Skoltz. So even if Danny Eslick is able to win the Superstock 1000 race in this one, he's still not going to take over the championship points lead. So we can safely say that in this particular instance, if Bobby Fong, Jake Lewis, and Matthew Skoltz cannot restart this race, everything will stay the same at the top of this championship. It'll still be 13 points back Lewis and 19 points back for Matthew Skoltz. So as the crew works on the racetrack here to make sure that everything's clean, bikes are in the pits and they're waiting for this entire situation to be cleaned up. We're going to restart this race from the beginning. So don't go anywhere on BN Sports because we still have a heap of laps to do. 13 to go. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Dunlop Championship at Road America in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. It is the MotoAmerica Road Race Championship here in the United States. Red flag conditions as we actually have everything all cleared up. As you can see, this is the location of the crash that happened before the commercial break, and here is a replay of what happened. Jason Pridmore, take us through it. You're the expert.
Yeah, right. We saw a great clean start, and our first 2 rows got away. Everybody got away great. And we saw Jake just slide into 2nd place amongst the Superbikes, and Tony got his normal great start from the back of the grid, or from 4th row. But coming into turn 5, Jake just got a little greedy with his ball right there, and it's just enough to throw him up over the top. And you see Bobby come in, and then poor Matthew Skoltz had nowhere to go too. And it just can't state it enough. It's so weird to see the 3 Superstock leaders all go down. So now we're going to be in what they call a quick start format. You can see just one member of each team will be out on their grid. They'll get everybody kind of stopped and shown where they're at, and then they're going to go out for a warm-up lap. Now, why don't you give us an update on who made it back out, Greg? Yeah, see, that's what it looks like. Matthew Skoltz on the 11. You can see him back there on the Yamalu Westby Racing Yamaha. He made it back out onto the racetrack, and I believe M4 X-Star Suzuki's Jake Lewis also made it out. He was able to come back in under his own power, and the crew really threw some stuff at him, but it doesn't look like Bobby Fong is able to start. But I don't see Lewis right now, so I don't see him either. And I did see him leave pit lane, and these guys now are going to go out for their warm-up lap. I'm looking to see if I can see Jake pull down pit lane. That team had so many guys working on his bike. When we were sitting during this little break, I was watching probably 10 people working on Jake's bike, and I saw him leave, but I never saw him come back around. So the winner here, obviously, Matthew Skoltz, being able to, the Yamalu Westby team did an amazing job getting his bike back together, but really at that point, it's the luck of the draw of whose bike had more damage or not. So, yeah, we're going to have a look.
The race has been shortened to 8 laps. Originally scheduled here for 11, but race control decided they were going to reduce the distance to 8 laps. So now it's an 8-lap sprint race. I say that. It's a 4-mile-long circuit, so it's still plenty of race action in there. But for those racers that may have had an 11-lap plan, they've got to rethink it. So, it's going to be good if Matthew Skoltz his motorcycle's all set and ready to go, because Matthew is one of the riders that could really capitalize in that championship right now, as Skoltz was sitting 3rd in the battle for the lead in the Bazaz Superstock 1000 class, 19 points behind Bobby Fong. So we were happy to see Bobby Fong get up and ride away on a scooter while we were in break. So through the carousel section, a very famous part of this racetrack. A lot of lean angle and for a long, long time. Now, Jason, it's also possible that if Jake Lewis is out there, did you see him kind of take off in that deal?
I did. I saw him go out, and I'm looking over at his crew right now, and I haven't seen, there's no reaction from anything.
If you cause the red flag, I believe you have to start from the back anyway and not take your grid position. So there is that possibility as well. We'll get a better look at it as we go through here on this warm-up lap for the restart of race number 2 of the MotoAmerica Superbike class in the Bazaz Superstock 1000, a race with inside of a race. And you can easily distinguish those motorcycles by those number plates. Superbike's really kind of unlimited on what they can do with their number plates. It just has to be approved by race direction. But Superstock 1000s, red backing with those white numbers. There's Danny Eslick, number 69 in the TOBC. There's 888 Max Flinders. Max having some knee puck problems earlier this weekend, actually.
Is that right?
Yeah, put his knee on the ground. Knee puck would completely separate from the Velcro that it's attached to. So he got some help from Alpine Stars, gave him a couple sets of knee pucks to help him out this weekend, but just to get him through. So here we go. We're forming up the grid. You know what it looks like. It's Roger Hayden on pole, Josh Hayes in second, Cameron Beauvier third, Jake Lewis was in the 4th place spot. We'll see if he's able to make that grid. Matthew Skoltz should be lining up in 5th spot. Josh Herrin in 6th. Does this play in Josh Herrin's favor? Absolutely, because he was having to start from the back of the grid. So Herrin now totally takes advantage of that. Eslick, Bobby Fong, not on that grid. You can see in the middle of row number 3. And it looks like Jake Lewis is back there,
It looks like he's on the back of the grid, doesn't it? So both Jake Lewis and
yep, there he
Matthew
is.
Skoltz are on there.
Right part of your screen, you can see the 85 M4X Star Suzuki. Here we go. So it's off. And up front, they have all the work to do again. Can Tony Elias get the launch? He didn't move over to the right. He just went right up the middle. And there he is on the right part of your screen, left side. So Elias on the outside. Can he slot back into 3rd? And he does it again on the Yoshimura Suzuki.
He definitely had a big gap to go through. And it looked like Josh Herrin was trying to go through Matthew Skoltz, and they both made it through there clean. Here comes Tony Elias running up underneath Josh Hayes. You can see Josh just have to stand it up just a little bit there. Tony out of shape on the exit of turn 3. Rod's trying to do what he did yesterday, Greg, and break the field, break away a little bit early.
So here we go, Roger Hayden trying to dart off into the distance, but Tony Elias is dragging Josh Hayes. Josh Herrin now up the inside on Camp Beauvier, and the number 11 on that Yamalu Westbury Racing Yamaha Skoltz right there in tow as well, as these 6 are trying to make a break.
And you called it, Greg. What a great opportunity for Josh Herrin. The guy was sitting there. Literally, I was watching him push his bike up and down with a scooter and a crew member on his bike trying to bump start it, and now he's running 4th in the race.
A good look at Roger
Big
Hayden's crew right there. Dana, his girlfriend with the glasses on, taking a look at the monitor and down that long front straightaway, as this is a very unique place to watch a race, because if you don't have a monitor, you got to wait 2 minutes and 30 seconds or 2 minutes and 20 seconds for your Superbike rider to come by again. Tony Elias in 2nd spot, as a good look at the Genuine Broaster Chicken Honda team as they're looking on, as well as the Monster Energy Yamaha team. So Tony Elias has caught Roger Hayden.
Look at Josh Herrin trying to go by Josh Hayes now. He's going to move that Mean Motorsports bike up to 3rd. Tony Elias trying to go underneath his teammate down into Canada corner. Rogers isn't able to square him back up. Josh Hayes wasn't going to have any of it from Josh Herrin as they head up the hill. That's where Josh Hayes had his big crash yesterday on the siding lap. Cameron Beauvier's fallen back just a little bit. We've seen this out of Cameron a little bit. Josh Herrin back underneath Josh Hayes as they go into the last corner. What's that going to do to his drive, if anything? Josh Hayes is going to try to get back into the slipstream of Herrin as they come up this front straightaway for the first lap. Roger Hayden doing the same thing to his teammates as they come across the line for lap 1.
All right, so Roger Hayden now made some adjustments to that Yoshimura Suzuki overnight. They wanted more drive out of that motorcycle, but man, Roger Hayden's in deep, and he could not get the motorcycle turned. So that means his teammate Tony Elias, somebody off in the grass.
It was the same thing with Josh Herrin. He was in there deep too, Greg. He was starting to run wide, and that's going to let Hayes and Cameron Beauvier go through to get 4th and 5th.
So it looks like Tony Elias really struggling out of turn number 3 with the motorcycle snapping underneath him. He's not able to get the drive, and that means Roger Hayden is going to go by and deep into turn number 5. So Hayden trying to get that bike slowed down, trying to get it to the apex. He does. He's going to whip that throttle open and up to turn 6. He goes underneath the Corvette bridge. All the while, Hayes is just checking all of this out, and it looks like Hayes now has gotten around Josh Herrin, so he doesn't have that fly in the ointment right now as Cam Beauvier hanging back there. Here's another look.
Yeah, this is drafting and redrafting as they come down the front straightaway, and you can see Roger Hayden is able to get that bike into the corner, but he's just carrying a little bit too much speed, Greg. He's going to miss his tip-in point. He's going to run him a little bit wide. You can see him off the paint. You can see down there where Tony was, and these guys are all going as Cameron Beauvier has now made his way through. Well, actually, he made that pass back when Josh Herrin ran off the track out of turn 1, and they go down into the chicane area out of the carousel there.
So, Genuine Broaster Chicken, it was actually Jake Gagne who ran off the track earlier where we saw that big puff of dirt. But he's able to hold on and stay on the racetrack. So Roger Hayden trying to get away from Tony Elias at this point. I did talk to Tony Elias, Jason, before we went on the air a little while before, and I said, you guys make a lot of changes to the motorcycle, and he just gave me that Tony Elias thing where he just goes, poof, like, yeah, big changes. And so they're really trying a bit of a gamble. We've talked about it before, this brand new GSX-R 1000 coming to these racetracks, most of them for the first time, and the Yoshimura's crew trying to find the solution as quickly as they can because they know they have a whole heap of Monster Energy Yamaha Factory Racing R1s coming after him. Can't say enough about Josh Hayes right now. I mean, he is taking such a beating. The ground won that battle yesterday, and here he is in third spot right now, trying to hold off his teammate, Cam Beauvier.
I mean, what Josh went through yesterday, landing on his back like that flat, he's going to be really sore tomorrow. He's not thinking about it now as Cameron Beauvier is now trying to make a move on Josh as they head down in turn 3. He is seeing those Yoshimura bikes. When they do that, though, that's letting those two guys out in front get a little bit further away, and that's going to allow Josh Herrin now to try to get back into that slipstream with both those Yamahas and try to do something with Josh Hayes down into turn 5.
Right now, this early stages of this race, it doesn't look like Cam Beauvier has the secret sauce he had yesterday, at least not yet. Although Cam, at some point, he's been very happy to kind of hang back and look. It's a little too far back for my taste right now, Cam Beauvier. He's got to start making a move, and of course, there's always the way the motorcycle feels with the full fuel load. Replay of the start.
Look at that 4th row. See that big hole that Tony Elias was able to go through? Look at him coming up through both rows. He's going to get himself up into that 4th place, 3rd place position by the time he got down into turn 1. Roger's really getting this Yoshimura Suzuki off the start really well. We've seen him with a lot of hole shots, a lot better start for Josh Hayes. And there's a great slow motion as they go down into turn 1. And Matthew Skultz, the big winner in the Superstock category there, that little incident between Jake Lewis and them. And I'm looking down my thing right now, Jake Lewis up to 10th overall in and 3rd Superstock bike right now. So he's going to still get some points if he can continue to do what he's doing. You can see Jake on the left-hand part of your screen there. Coming from the last row of the grid, he went by a ton of people before he got to turn 1.
Back to live pictures. Roger Hayden still leading Tony Elias, and now a bit of a break there for Cam Beauvier as he's about equidistant between 2nd place and 4th place, but it's Josh Herrin, number 2. Doing a great job right now on the HelmetSounds.com Western Services Mean Yamaha all over the back of that factory bike and that Richard Stamboli built motor. It is very fast, Jason.
Yeah, let's see if he's able to draft Josh Hayes as they come down this front straightaway. And you're exactly right. Look at, you see Josh Hayes' bike wheelie a little bit and how Herrin's didn't. That's going to allow him to be able to pull up alongside. Just that little bit of a wheelie that Josh Hayes had, but Josh Hayes outbreaks him going into turn 1. Doesn't allow Herrin to get through. Battle at the front. Tony Elias looks over his shoulder to see where Cameron Beauvier is. Cameron Beauvier plays the patient game better than anybody.
He does.
Just like you said, Greg, you were worried about him being too far back. I never really felt like he was that far back. He's in a 2:12.9 that lap.
Yep.
To close that gap down.
Fastest lap of the race for Cam Beauvier. Also think about, I was going to mention this earlier before the replay, the fuel load as that drops. Cam always feels like that bike starts working a little better for him as the fuel load starts to drop in that tank. And so Cam Beauvier right now is starting to chip away at the lead. About equal times though to Roger Hayden, who also did a 2:12.9. Beauvier just about 0.03 of a second quicker. Josh Hayes trying to get the power to the ground. A little bit of a slip there. And here's another look at Josh Herrin, who had already passed Hayes, but Hayes gets him on the brakes.
Yep, Hayes was just going to wait a little bit longer to get on those brakes. And, you know, everyone's going to say to Josh, oh, you must have been hurt, you must have been this. He'll just deny it. I know that impact he took yesterday was a big one. He's definitely going to be feeling it. But I'm just watching his bike, and it's moving around a little bit underneath him, especially under initial acceleration. You can see it there, just moving around a little bit. And Herron's bike just looked a little bit more planted even as they exited turn 1 there. But Josh Hayes might not be able to ride the bike the way he wants to, so he's just a little impaired with that right now.
I mean, a great job by the HelmetSound.com Western Services Mean Motorsports team, because they have not had a tremendous amount of track time, and definitely not a tremendous amount of dry track time. As we look at Jake Gagne, who's in 12th position, his team taking a look.
Tony Elias is sideways going into Canada corner, Greg. He was so sideways, and you know that the bike skills that these guys have are so amazing. From here, you sit there and you think, oh my gosh, poor Roger's going to get taken out. But I never feel like that with Tony Elias. He's got such great bike control over all the years. We're talking about a guy who's won MotoGP races, Moto2 World Championships. I mean, the bike control, again, is something that is second to none. So Roger's shown repeatedly, though, Greg, that he's been able to lead across the line out of that last lap. and hopefully that's something to put under his belt.
I just want to tell you this. When they came across the line, Roger Hayden had set the fastest lap of the race, followed by Tony, who went fastest lap of the race, followed by Cam, who went fastest lap. It literally went purple, purple, purple as they came across. So fastest lap will settle into Cam Beauvier at a 2:12.689 currently. So they've taken a little bit of time out of Roger Hayden on this one, but you can see Roger Hayden leading the way, setting the pace. Tony Elias' bike looks so much more upset. It's very twitchy right now, and that may play a factor in the late stages of this race as Josh Hayes continues to battle it out. By the way, between those two battling it out at the back, Hayes and Herron, there's 5 Superbike titles between them.
Yes, there is. When you talk about the lap times, 2:12.8 is what we did on a qualifying tire here yesterday morning. Roger Hayden is at pole position. Right now, Cameron Beauvier just went 2:12.6. Tony Elias 2:12.8. Like you said, Raj right there on that same pace. So we get a chance to look at Melissa and the Yamaha team down there.
On the right, actually, with the earplugs in, that's Dr. Riggs Klicka. You were mentioning Riggs,
earlier.
Who is Josh Hayes' coach, has longtime coach. And there's his wife, Melissa Paris, who runs a KTM team on the MP13 squad. Josh Hayes and Josh Herron. A battle of the Joshes right now through the carousel, and they'll be heading towards the chicane. As now, Melissa Paris knew she was on TV, so she's like, I'm shifting my position.
I'm out of here.
A good look at the HelmetSounds.com Western Services team right there. Roger Hayden continues to lead the way. Tony Elias, Cam Beauvier, Josh Hayes, Josh Herron, Matthew Schultz leading the Superstock 1000 battle over Danny Eslick, Larry Pegram.
There we go, Greg. Pass for the lead. Tony Elias gets a run on him down into Canada corner off that chicane back straightaway. And he's able to slide his way past Josh. And they're
so
just
twitchy.
You're exactly right with Cam. Cam just, he's there, but he's not right there, and it looks like these guys have pulled away just a little bit this lap, so I'm not sure if it's a mistake by Cameron somewhere in the lap that we didn't get to see it. But right now, Elias wants to try his hand in the lead. Let's see if Raj can draft up to him or past him down this front straightaway.
And talking to the crew, Roger Hayden, number 95 bike, they said that he was happy with the motorcycle. Didn't say it was soft or anything. They just needed more grunt off the corner, which electronically you can do now. As Roger Hayden sends it sideways into turn number 1. It looked like Tony Elias was a little wide on that one. So
Josh Hayes is wide.
Yeah. Oh, Hayes is
wide.
wide.
And it looked like he was going to run off the track,
and
too.
He did.
Yep.
He did. I saw it in the upper part of your screen. So now Josh Herron has gotten through. So Tony Elias leads. Number 95, Roger Hayden. I'm going to tell you something, though, Jason. With the way Roger's riding the back section of this track, it looks like his team sorted out that drive problem as Hayden takes over to lead. Can he get the motorcycle slowed? Jason, that's a sensation. It's not him on the rear brake, is it, when he sends it sideways?
That is absolutely just getting on the last brakes late as you can. And coming from a draft, that means you got to pull the lever on even harder, and he's making a steering input. And you can see the track kind of bends to the left there. But, hey, if there's anybody that's used to getting the bike sideways, it's going to be any one of the Haydens. As you can see here, this is going down into Canada corner. You're going to see Tony getting the bike a little sideways himself as they go into turn right into this right-hand turn Canada corner. I can't tell the fans at home how narrow that gets down there. To make a pass like that takes such a big commitment.
Davey Jones, crew chief for Roger Hayden, looking on there as Tony Elias up the inside. So he'll take over the position. But Cam isn't right there, but you just kind of get there. All right, here's another look at what happened to Herron and Hayes.
Josh just gets in there a little bit too fast. You can see he's committed early to not trying to make that corner. He stands it up, goes over those, and it's great that here at Road America we've got that extra little bit of runoff. Instead of being gravel right off the bat, they got a little bit of runoff there, so he's able to get the bike turned and get back on. But while these two guys are kind of playing with each other here, Greg, going back and forth with each other, it's allowing Cameron to kind of sneak back in. He doesn't need a second chance.
No, he does not. Cam Beauvier, not throwing the shots we saw yesterday. Cam was very aggressive, wanted to lead from the beginning. Doesn't seem like he has that desire. I'm not saying he doesn't have the pace, but he doesn't have the same desire because he hasn't really gotten up in there and thrown some elbows around.
And these guys now Cameron's going to be able to get a double bike draft off these two Yoshimura Suzukis.
Elias, pit board's out. If you're new to Superbike racing, that's exactly how they communicate with the riders. No onboard communication, so they only get to see what's going on behind them once every 2 minutes and 13 seconds. So it's Yoshimura Suzuki.
Rajin wide now.
Yeah, oh, and he tries to steer with the rear end of the motorcycle.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, Josh Herrin.
Oh.
Huge smoke show right now.
And when you see that, that means that it blew so big, you can see the oil coming out the front of the bike. There was oil on that front tire. So this is going to be something now that they're going to have to pay attention to. Red flag's got to come out, yes.
Is coming out here in this race.
His boots on fire. Something's burning him bad.
I bet oil got in his boots right now, and it's burning him, and that oil is extremely hot. Josh Herrin trying to take care of himself with 2 laps to go on this one. It's the option of race control to call it. If they do, it reverts back to the last full lap. I can tell you that Chris Paris, Max Flinder, Sean Dwyer, Jeffrey Perkins, so on, they had only finished lap number 5. So Herrin with his boot off right now, possibly burnt, trying to get that sock off.
Let's just hope that, I'm just glad nobody went down on that. That's a big, big thing. And you can see Josh pulling on the front brake lever, and there was oil on the front tire. And that's scary. You know, that's really scary. He did a good job of getting that bike stopped. You can see him coming in. He got by Josh Hayes, and he knew his motor blew. Look how quick he got his arm up in the air, and that's great on his part. But now he doesn't want to tip the bike in. And watch right here. See that, Greg? That's him pulling the brake lever on. And oil, you can see a little bit of you can see it right before he went into the gravel.
All over the place.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see it coming out. Look at it coming out the front of the bike. Look at that, Greg, out the front of the belly pan.
There's a belly pan underneath, folks, so that fairing actually is closed off for a reason. It's designed to catch oil in case of a catastrophic engine failure, but sometimes it just can't hold everything because if the motor blows up violently, it's going to send oil everywhere. So now Josh Herrin, who is one booted, kind of looks like a pirate there.
Oh, man, poor guy. He
Guy.
had a rough day, and he's already starting to look like he's going to walk all the way back. So, you know, it'll be interesting to see if they revert back a lap. I believe Roger Hayden was leading the lap prior.
Well,
I'm not sure, though.
Yoshimura Suzuki is congratulating themselves because it is official. It looks like this race is going to go back to lap number 5. That means Tony Elias wins the race. Roger Hayden and Cameron Beauvier with Josh Hayes and Josh Herrin. Matthew Skultz will win the Superstock 1000 battle. Danny Eslick in second, so he'll get points in that championship. He'll get a full 20 points. Larry Pegram in 8th spot, Jake Gagne in 9th, Hayden Gillum in 10th overall, Bryce Prince, Jake Lewis will end up finishing in the 5th spot, 12th overall, with David Anthony, Chris Paris, and Max Flinders. So that will be your race results as Tony Elias takes victory here at a very, very strange Motul Superbike and Bazaz Superstock 1000 class finish at Road-America.
Josh Herrin's throwing his boots over and he's walking down. Grass probably feels good for him right now, but he's got his, you know, it's not 2 boots. He's got his outer boot and his inner boot. You can see his left boot still on.
And Josh knows how to entertain the fans.
Here you go, guys. You can have that oiled up boot if you like, that my sweaty sock and everything just came out of.
That's a pretty good toss, actually.
Pretty good toss. Yeah, it actually is.
What's next for
getting a ride
Josh Herrin, the NFL?
You know, it's just a shame because we had such a perfect, beautiful day for racing, and the Superbike race just had so much drama and issues. So
very unusual. Extremely unusual for what's going on here. But this will mark Tony Elias' 4th win on the season and take his podium total to 7. So Tony Elias having a banner year. I mean, besides one DNF, he hasn't finished below 2nd place when he finished a race. It'll be win number 4 and 3 second-place finishes for the Spaniard. So into victory lane they go, into Parc Ferme. Tony Elias, your winner here with Roger Hayden in 2nd place. Cameron Beauvier will finish 3rd. And of course, we're going to take a break here as they push that HelmetSound.com Mean Motorsports motorcycle out of the way. We'll be back on BN Sports to talk and find out what happened with Tony Elias, Roger Hayden, and Cam Beauvier. Don't go anywhere. MotoAmerica on beIN Sports was presented by Dunlop Motorcycle Tires, the only motorcycle tires designed, tested, and made in America for how you ride. And powered by Kawasaki. Let the good times roll. Well, that was something without question. A red flag involving Lewis, Fong, and Skoltz got us a red flag, shortened from 13 laps to 8. And then Josh Herrin's incident. And here it is.
You could see when they were putting the dry down how much oil there was. I mean, that thing literally, the thing I can't get out of my head right now is how much oil is coming out the front part of this motorcycle, and you'll see it here. He was so lucky not to fall, but you could see the oil just gushing out the front, just covering that front tire. And I
hope his foot's okay, man.
Yeah.
You know, because that could be second, third degree burns with oil running that hot, no question about it.
Yep, and he caught himself with his right foot too, Greg. When that front tire went out from underneath him, he caught himself with that
Maybe
with his
that
right
was
foot.
it.
So
Maybe
it could have
he
been.
It
could have been, but I think that what you said, you could see him doing something with his right foot there.
Yeah.
That for sure. And we got the red flag out right away. It's good for MotoAmerica to do that.
So red flag out, and race direction decided to call this race after 5, and the winner is Tony Elias, and he's down with Hannah right now.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with today's race winner. We were just talking a little bit, and Tony mentioned that it was a pretty strange race, but you finished on top after you made some changes to the bike last night after yesterday's races. Tell us about that.
Yes, we changed a lot. Yesterday I didn't feel the front, I couldn't turn. This warm-up, it has been much better, the bike, and well, we start really good again. Very strange race, 2 red flags, and yes, I had to start well. I did it, and after that I was there to fight. I've been lucky, honestly. These things doesn't happen every day, but if we're looking, the championship is really good. Cameron is third today. We take some advantage, and this is the most important thing. My team work really hard to give me the best bike as possible. We are working well. We always being with consistency. This is really important for the championship. Yesterday, lose the race for 0.05. Disappoint me a little bit, but well, win today, and this race is for Nicky, for Hayden family in this difficult time. And yeah, sorry.
That's our race winner.
All right, thanks, Tony Elias. 9 points over Cameron Beauvier today. The difference between first and third. 25 awarded for first and 60. Here's the winning overtaking move by Tony Elias over his teammate, Yoshimura Suzuki Factory Racing's Roger Hayden. And who would have guessed at that point that the race was going to end? But, Jason, that shows the urgency of if you have that move, you got to make that move. And you know what? Hannah's down with Roger Hayden. Let's hear his version of the race. Hannah?
Now, I'm sure it's not the race ending that you were hoping for. I'm thinking you wish you had a couple more laps to kind of battle with your teammate there. But tell us about that race ending.
Yeah, definitely a little disappointed that it ended early. I felt really strong today. Me and the team made some changes overnight, and the bike was a lot better. I felt like we had the best bike, and so I'm definitely disappointed. But sometimes that's just how it goes. But you know, we got second. Yoshimura Suzuki won too, so it's good for the team. And it was a good battle for Tony. You know, we was going at it, and just one lap sooner, it would have been a different finish. But overall, got some points, and you know, I think we learned a lot with the bike in this race, because yesterday where I was struggling, today it was a lot better. So I think we learned something, and move on to Utah, and you know, looking forward to getting home and celebrating my birthday with my nieces.
Sounds awesome. Well, happy early birthday to you.
Thank you.
All right, so Roger Hayden having a birthday.
It's going to be great.
And what he's talking about, of course, was the drive out of the corner. They felt that they needed a little bit more acceleration out of that bike yesterday, and the team going to work. Electronically, they were able to actually get that done, and that was a big step forward for Davey and Marshall, his engineer. So although second place finished today, I think a lot of confidence with how they were able to get that motorcycle working. But for Cam Beauvier, I'm sure that Cameron Beauvier might have had a plan on this one, hanging back and maybe throwing him something. What do you think, Hannah?
So I'm here with Cam Beauvier, finished third place today. You know, you're kind of hanging back on the Suzukis today. What was your plan while you were in there, just kind of waiting to catch up to them?
Yeah, it was was kind of a funky race, you know. 2 red flags is kind of a bummer. It's, you know, I kind of got out of my flow and stuff like that. But happy to get out of here, you know, with another podium. And I really would have liked to get another win today for my Monster Energy Graves Yamaha guys. But, you know, I'm safe and lost a little points today, which was a bummer. But move on to Miller. I like that track a lot. And, yeah, go get them.
All right, thanks, Cam.
Thank you.
All right, so Cameron Beauvier, the 3rd place finisher here in the MoTool Superbike class. A shortened race by crashes and oil here at the Dunlop Championship at Road America. Let's take a look at these race results, and we can take a look at that super stock race as well as we look at the Dunlop race results here. Tony Elias, Roger Hayden, Cam Beauvier, Josh Herrin. We'll have to see if that's actually going to be the way it finishes. They might take him out of that result, and Josh Hayes is going to move up. But Matthew Skoltz is going to win the Superstock 1000 battle, as well as Gagne in the mix, Danny Eslick, and so on back through the field. So congratulations, though, to Tony Elias. The margin of victory will officially be 0.131 of a second. Cam Beauvier less than a second behind at 0.854. So that's the way they're going to finish up. Here's the championship standings, as Tony Elias, like I mentioned, was able to get 9 on Cam Beauvier. So it's Tony Beauvier, 14 back now. Roger, 20. Hayes up to 4th spot, 80 points back. Never could have predicted that at the beginning of this season.
No, and he's just had a little bit of a rough go here at Road America for sure. But that big crash didn't help him yesterday. After coming in with a little bit of momentum, I felt, for Josh, and just one little slip up yesterday, or big slip up in that siding lap accident, really put him back on his heels today for sure.
MoTool Podium going on right now, but Hannah has more from down in Victory Lane. Hannah?
I am here with our Superstock 1000 race winner, Matthew Skoltz. I'm pretty sure you didn't expect to be standing here after your crash at the beginning of the race. How are you feeling right now?
Yeah, after the first lap crash, I think it was me, Bobby, and Jake both sort of all kind of tangled up, and then I just managed to basically limp the bike around, and then luckily the Young Westby boys who got the bike fixed for me, and we managed to actually get back out for the second start. So I'm really thankful to be standing here.
Well, we're glad to see you're okay. Thanks.
All right, so Matthew Skoltz, South African, takes the win. And here's our MoTool Superbike podium. Tony Elias standing on top of the box next to Roger Hayden, his teammate. And, of course, Monster Energy Yamalube Yamaha Factory Racing's Cam Beauvier, the #1 plate, going after it this year. But Tony Elias is in a class also. Very interesting to see what happens next when we go to Utah, June 23rd through the 25th. Make sure you come on out to Salt Lake City and come to Tooele, Utah, and join us there, because it is going to be exciting race action as we are going to hit the halfway point of our season when we get to Utah, JP.
Crazy, because we've been so busy the last 6 weeks with all of this. We've had, Atlanta straight to VIR, to the Pittsburgh test, and then obviously up here to Road America. I think that we're going to be halfway home is great. We're going to start a little West Coast swing. I see a lot of friends out at Laguna Seca and back up to Sears Point or Infineon up there in Sonoma. So it's going to be great to be up there again also.
Roger Hayden getting a little time on the PA system as fans still hanging around here. A big stream of traffic we expect to roll out of Road America, as there were just thousands of people that showed up to experience this spectacular day. A lot of things happened here at Road America. Championship ramifications all the way around. As we look at some of the race action here, the replay. Look at Cam Beauvier doing great work today on his Yamaha R1. The battle in the Super Sport class raged on. An amazing time here, and a big get-off for Jake Lewis and his M4X Star Suzuki. They got back on it, and a dominating performance by the Yamaha team in Super Sport racing. Well, that'll do it for us on beIN Sports. For Jason Pridmore and Hannah Lopa, I'm Greg White. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time from Utah.